Welcome to Sage Audio. Today, let's look at how to mix a 2-track beat and vocals. But first, if you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Start with clip gain on the beat. The chapters in this video are a chain, so we'll look at each step one by one and build on our processing with each demonstration. The first thing I want to do is reduce the gain of the instrumental. I'll use clip gain for this since it occurs before any processing that we'll introduce, whereas the volume fader will occur after any and all processing. By lowering the gain, we're going to give ourselves more headroom. Before we start processing, let's just get acquainted with the track that we're working on today and solo the vocal and instrumental.
I wrote this 30,000 feet up, 10 toes stay G'd up. I'm trying to get that type of wealth like a house on the hills can't see us. Say the money still me up, stay humble. No weak stuff.
Use RxD clip and phase align. This step is more or less optional, but I find it helps the overall sound. First, I'll export the reduced gain instrumental and import it into iZotope RX. Then I'll perform subtle declipping, which is going to be especially valuable if you pulled the track from YouTube or SoundCloud. Now, I don't want to repair every clip, just the ones associated with the peaks. Now, while we're here, we might as well fix the phase rotation by clicking Suggest and then rendering the changes. This is going to help reduce unwanted clipping when we start to process the instrumental. Let's do a null test between the original instrumental and the declipped one to hear the differences and notice the occasional clipping in the left or right channel. If you're enjoying the video, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It's free and it helps us bring you more videos. Achieve a few dB of multiband expansion. Back in our session, let's add our first processor to the 2-track beat, which should be a multiband dynamics processor. I use the Pro MB and create 5 bands, all of which have their gains reduced, but include expansion with a positive range. By lowering the gain and then introducing expansion, we increase the dynamic range while keeping the overall level of the track about the same. For the lows, I used a longer release and tried to time it to the track. For the highs, I used a quicker attack and release to retain detail. Lastly, I increased the amount of the effect slightly with the mix slider. Let's take a listen and notice how this keeps the frequency response of the track more or less the same, but it increases the dynamic range a good amount.
I wrote this 30,000 feet up, 10 toes stay G'd up. I'm trying to get that type of wealth like a house on the hills can't see us. Say the money still me up, stay humble, stay teed up. I don't tell you how to live, so don't hit me with no weak stuff.
Equalize beat side image. Next, I want to clear some space for the vocal by equalizing the beat. With a mid-side EQ, I'm going to cut away some frequencies that are going to interfere with the vocal, but I'm only going to do this on the side image. I'll attenuate roughly 2 kHz on the side, as well as 250 Hz. To find the frequencies that interfere with your vocal, you have to listen intently when centering your band, but know that 200 to 300 Hz, as well as 2 to 5 kHz, are important ranges. Let's take a listen and notice how this gives the vocal some more room.
I wrote this 30,000 feet up, 10 toes stay G'd up. I'm trying to get that type of wealth like a house on the hills can't see us. Say the money still me up, stay humble, stay teed up. I don't tell you how to live, so don't hit me with no weak stuff.
Use dynamic sidechain equalization on the mid image. You might be wondering why I only equalized the side image in the last chapter. I still need to attenuate some frequencies on the mids, but I don't want these frequencies to be constantly attenuated since they're pretty important to the beat. So I'll use dynamic bands on the mids. Additionally, I'll use the vocal as the external sidechain so that the vocal signal triggers the attenuation of these frequencies, meaning they're only dipped when the vocalist is performing. Let's take a listen.
I wrote this 30,000 feet up, 10 toes stay G'd up. I'm trying to get that type of wealth like a house on the hills can't see us. Say the money still me up, stay humble, stay teed up. I don't tell you how to live, so don't hit me with no weak stuff.
Expand beats, side image transients. Part of getting the vocal to sit in the beat includes slightly widening the beat. To do this, I like to use a parallel send, and with the free plugin MSED, I'll mute the mid image and turn soloing the side image. Then I'll insert a transient expander. With the transient expander, I'll amplify the transients in turn, dynamically widening the beat and shifting some of its energy away from the mid image. This both sounds great and gives the vocal some more room in the middle of the mix. So let's take a listen.
I wrote this 30,000 feet up, 10 toes stay G'd up. I'm trying to get that type of wealth like a house on the hills can't see us. Say the money still me up, stay humble, stay teed up. I don't tell you how to live, so don't hit me with no weak stuff.
Reintroduce clipping and saturation to the beat. I know it's strange that I'm introducing clipping to the beat when I tried to reduce it earlier, but there's a big difference between clipping introduced from bad encoding on the internet and clipping introduced with a processor that's designed to make it sound good. With the PSP Saturator, I'll use the hard clip setting, center low frequency saturation over my 808 to give it some weight, and do something similar with the highs to accent the transients. Additionally, I'll find and engage the fat function, which in this plugin is oversampling. This is going to keep the highs clean and free from aliasing and phase distortion. Let's take a listen.
I wrote this 30,000 feet up, 10 toes stay G'd up. I'm trying to get that type of wealth like a house on the hills can't see us. Say the money still re up, stay stuff.
If you're enjoying the channel, use the search box to watch more of our videos. Compress and de-ess vocal. It's taken a while to get to the vocal, but let's start with compression followed by de-essing. For the compression, I want to capture the vocal quickly, so I'll use a quick attack and a 50 millisecond release to retain the detail of the track. I also enabled look ahead. This is going to help the compressor anticipate the incoming signal, allowing more to be captured by it. Then I'll turn on auto makeup gain. This vocal was already somewhat compressed, so I only needed about 4 dB of compression, but use a little more, up to 7 dB if needed. For the de-esser, I attenuated about 4 dB as well, using a split band setting to attenuate only the selected frequencies and set the range between 6 to 14 kHz. Let's take a listen to how this dynamically controls the vocal and also brings it forward in the mix.
I wrote this 30,000 feet up, 10 toes stay G'd up. I'm trying to get that type of wealth like a house on the hills can't see us. Say the money still re up, stay humble, stay teed up. I don't tell you how to live, so don't hit me with no weak stuff.
Introduce EQ to the vocal. Let's start shaping our vocal with EQ, starting with a high pass to cut out some of the unneeded lows. We'll also attenuate roughly 200 to 700 Hz, only by a couple of dB since these frequencies often cover up or mask the higher, more clarifying frequencies. With that said, I'll also amplify 2 to 5 kHz to add more vocal clarity while dipping a little bit of sibilance frequencies. Lastly, I'll add a small amount of air from 12 to 30 kHz. Let's take a listen to how this improves the vocal and helps it stick out when it's played with the 2-track beat.
I wrote this 30,000 feet up, 10 toes stay G'd up. I'm trying to get that type of wealth like a house on the hills can't see us. Say the money still re up, stay humble, stay teed up. I don't tell you how to live, so don't hit me with no weak stuff.
Use tube saturation on vocal. There's something missing from this vocal, and when that's the case, I often find that saturation helps a lot. I'll add Arturia's new tube saturator, and with the first setting enabled, slowly introduce saturation with the drive and bias dials, while ensuring that the EQ is off in the advanced section. The air setting helps add some clarity to the vocal, and the harmonics this plugin introduces both fills the vocal and helps separate its frequencies from the instrumental's frequencies. Let's take a listen.
I wrote this 30,000 feet up, 10 toes stay G'd up. I'm trying to get that type of wealth like a house on the hills can't see us. Say the money still re up, stay humble, stay teed up. I don't tell you how to live, so don't hit me with no weak stuff.
Add controlled sibilance with parallel trick. Last up, I want to add high frequencies to the vocal, but I don't want them to be harsh or unpleasant. First, I'll set up a bus, and on the aux track for that bus, I'll introduce a linear phase EQ that isolates the highs. Then I'll compress. I'll solo just the aux track while I'm compressing so that I can hear what compressor settings result in the smoothest and most enjoyable sounding high frequencies. I'll typically use a longer release, softer knee, clean compression, and turn off auto makeup gain. Then I'll blend the processed highs back in with the original track via the fader. Let's take a listen to what these highs add, then let's take a listen to how the vocal and beat sounded when we started and how they sound after our processing.
I wrote this 30,000 feet up, 10 toes stay G'd up. I'm trying to get that type of wealth like a house on the hills can't see us. Say the money. I don't tell you how to live, so don't hit me with no weak stuff. I wrote this 30,000 feet up, 10 toes stay G'd up. I'm trying to get that type of wealth like a house on the hills can't see us. Say the money still re up, stay humble, stay teed up. I don't tell you how to live, so don't hit me with no weak stuff.
If you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching.